Greetings and salutations, citizens. This is Wolfphototech, and here we are with another delightful video. This time, it is me covering the 3-book set, Slipcase, for Traveler 5 from Far Future Enterprises, which is owned by Marc Miller, who was the original designer for Traveler from the first edition. This is not to be confused with Mongoose Traveler, which is onto its second edition, and I do have quite a few of those books here, so I'll cover those in the future. But as you can see, I kept this in the plastic wrap, but it's open on the end. You have 3 books here. This typically sells on Amazon for $119, which approximately is the price of 2 books. Typically for TTRPGs, typical TTRPG book is typically somewhere between, say, a core book would be like something about this thick would be something like $49 versus $69. If you're talking Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, it's $69. It's $59. But anyways, as you can see, there is just 3 books here. Each book covers a different topic. Characters in Combat for Book 1. Book 2 is Starships, and Book 3 is Worlds and Adventures. Now, the really nice thing about this, I'm going to give you the quick up in front. Some of the organization is a little on the rough side in these books. I would have much loved it if a little more effort was done to organize the books better. But, that'd be one thing. But they're still a very good quality, as you can see. They're in that classic Traveler style of black, white, and red. There's some various cultural significances to the colors black, white, and red. It's oftentimes colors that are associated with various groups, but also Traveler, as well as they're the fundamental colors that most infants are capable of visually processing early on in their lives. They're very primal colors to the human psyche, by the way. Blackness is of the eternal void, white is of the eternal hope, and red is of life and intensity. So there you go. A little bit of color theory. Also, white is of purity and life, and black is also of death. Unless you're talking about Asian colors, which it's flipped in the other direction, white is actually the color of death, and black is actually a more positive color. But anyways, let's bust through this. First book, which happens to be, I have to remember again, Characters in Combat. This book paces around, say, over 275 plus pages. It's actually 280 pages. There's actually a little thing in the back from Marc Miller, by the way. But anyways, open up to the inside cover. Now this is actually a really nice detail. I agree with Dan Masters of Dungeon Craft. I do really like it when there is something on the inside cover. This is actually the UPP. This explains the very basic of the UPP and characteristics, so forth. So, hey, just a little bit of quick reference there. You turn over to here, you see the little black symbol mark. This is a D6 system. You have definitions up here and a quick explanation of a few things. And then we go to the title page, Book 1, Core Book 1, Characters in Combat. And then we are on to here, and it explains quickly here yet again, Darlene, about Traveler. This is, the table of contents. Not just for this book, but for the other 2 books as well. Each book has a table of contents for the other 2 books in this set, which is a really nice feature. However, that also results in each table of contents. You got a book 1 charts table right here. So if you ever want to look up a chart specifically, it happens to be right here, which is handy dandy. I really like that, by the way. And that actually mitigates some of the issues with some odd choices of organization in the books. However, okay, we'll continue on from there. Book 1, we happen to have basic information, dice overview, money, humanity, Eden hex, tons, distance and range bands, benchmarks, then character section. Characters are the central focus, characteristics, character generation, careers, backgrounds for characters, life pursuits and experience, genetics, chimera, androids and synthetics, clones, and then we have core concepts, which is tasks, skills, knowledges, talents, QREVs, the intuitions, the personals, and the senses, and then we have a chapter on fighting, which is personal combat, combat charts, the armory, and then we have 3 appendices down here: the dice appendix, the imperial calendar, and master mods. By the way, I chose to play Metroid music, yes, off of my Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. But this section right here, immediately after the contents, quickly gives you the quick overview of Traveler as a game, and gives you a replay example of what a game is like. And then it goes quickly into playing the game, first steps into the game, other steps, and so forth. And it quickly explains the galaxy, a bit of history about the galaxy, and so forth. There's actually a decent amount of artwork throughout the book, as well as charts here and there on costs and bits of history and all the other fun stuff. I'm not going to show you the entire book. But anyways, the foundations of the Traveler universe. Gravitational manipulation, fusion power. This gets into the deeper science and philosophy of Traveler, where if you were to, say, play the regular Traveler from why do I keep on saying Modiphius? Mongoose Traveler from Mongoose. It is more straight to the point, and it's nice pages, really nice art throughout it, but it's really to what you basically need, and it's just what you need, and not too much else, and it gets divided out between many, many books, where I found that these books actually have a lot of the same kind of information, but it goes deeper into the lore of Traveler, it goes deeper into the mechanics of Traveler, and is more specific to why it is this way, what is it, and when did it happen, and so forth. So, if you want to chew on the deeper features of Traveler as a system, this set looks to be a really good choice. Goes through various game design, various theories, and various terminology of the system. Traveler, human-dominated universe. Everything is driven by economics. There is no prime directive. Duty, honor, and loyalty section. Wheels within wheels. RDEM, rich decision-making environment. Driven by characteristics. Money, power, understanding, exploring the worlds and cultures. Breaks down into Traveler, generated worlds, generated soffits, generated things, beasts, and robots. Filled with adventure, casual players, detailed role players, and so forth. System engineers, and so. And I mean, it really digs down into a lot of the mechanics. Now, this is classic Traveler, and this is, as I said, this is a D6 system. So if you have D6s, and you just want to roll D6s, and you don't want to screw around with any other dice, go for it. This is the system you probably want. And in fact, it is so D6 heavy that they don't even bother putting the 6 on the D symbol. If you ever see it's just a number before the D, that is because they don't bother putting bother putting the 6 in, because you literally don't use any other dice. It's either a plus or minus 1 or 2 to 7. It's a plus range or a minus because there is no other dice. There is no D4s. There's no such thing as D8s, no D10s, no D20s, no D14s, no D3s. It is D6. It's only D6, and you just do D6. Okay? So there you go. It explains the dice functions. Now, I did complain a little bit about organization, but it actually is not super bad organization. It is just that the table of contents in the front doesn't go deep enough to outline whatever you need to find in exact areas. You either have to go to the table of contents in the front to look, see if you can find it there, or jump all the way to the back to the index, which is actually quite extensive. That's actually a merchant section. The index is actually huge. But it goes through every little thing in this system, and it covers extensively. So this is a well built up system. This goes through all kinds of concepts of like the 3 levels of money, credits, mega credits, and resources. The bartering system, frontier trade ramp, in-kind transaction, the concept of in-kind transactions. Humanity is the benchmark, which is typical in a lot of fantasy games. Humans are usually the standard in which everyone goes into it. It goes through the history and major human races, and then you have other species that get introduced in. You've got the expanded hex code system, which expands out all the advanced layers in the system itself for the hex code. Measurement systems, the concept of starship tonnage, maritime tons, subunits of the ton, and so forth. You got distance and range bands explained out in here. When I said that this version of Traveler is deeper and has many more fine adjustments to it, and they're not all crazy, like a billion nonsensical adjustments like some games, I'm not joking. So if you want to like go to a deeper version of Traveler, this is the foundation to go to that. And you can probably learn a bunch of stuff from this book and take it into your Mongoose Traveler and have some good fun times with that. But anyways, it gives you a whole bunch of examples of hex code and basic world ranges, space ranges, and so forth. And this is just an example of a lot of the stuff. Skipping a few pages. Just get out of the distance and range section. I'm not going to show you everything, guys. There's a section on benchmarks for everything. So if you want to know, cost of living, investments, investing in stocks and bonds in this system, go for it. You can really dig in and get really deep. And the benchmark section is actually quite large, like costs value system. Then we go into characters with a central focus. By the way, once we get along to page 46, it starts getting into the concepts going into character creation, much more so. And we carry on through there. Personal characteristics, physical, mental, caste, sanity, instinct, nobility, grace, and vigor. Going into character careers, so forth. You have numerous races in this book. There's several other races or species that are referenced in this book. Risk reward in your careers. the whole mustering out section, you actually have some nice, interesting examples of medals you can earn. Master checklist, scholar, entertainer, citizen, scout, merchant, spacer, soldier, agent, rogue, noble, marine, functionary. And then we have a section on land grants and information on aging. So if you want to own land, there you go. You got a section on basic ship shares. The second book is all about ships, by the way, but this gets you covered into understanding the concept of a ship share, like owning a portion of a ship or renting out your ships to other people. You got examples of character cards here, which is handy dandy. Life pursuits and experience, genetics. There's a lot of deep engineering. You got gender symbols in the system. You got a really broad range of options. Different species have different sexes. Some of them have multiple sexes. Examples between various races. Creating chimeras, making hybrids of races or species. Synthetics. Clones. The task cycle. We actually have some really nice little pictures in here. There are various airlocks or doorways from one level to another. You got a master skill list right here of 64 skills and many knowledges. We got skills define abilities area, as well as other fun stuff like actor, admin, and so forth. Astrogator. Different examples of various craft in here, so to get you some basic concepts here. Yet again, this is not all the craft, but some. This is just book 1, by the way. This is characters in combat. Basically, explaining through the roles of each shipmate and what kind of weapon systems you have on your ships. And personal combat as well as spatial combat and vehicle combat is in here. Examples of various spacesuits for a human and other species, which they simply listed as non-human. Talents, math, inspiration, memcraft, equipment evaluation, institutions, and so forth. Size scale for characters, land vehicles, and spaceships. Section on senses, like smell, taste, and so forth. So they teach you, this is touch, for example, and then they give you an example of various appendages, which people, various race species use to manipulate things. It gives you characteristics, so you basically know how well your character can manipulate or handle objects, depending on what species there are. This is a personal combat section. It goes pretty deep. Combat charts, damage select burst, artillery, orbital damage, battle damage, and so forth. There's a lot of fun stuff in here. We get into the heavy weapons section, the various lists of weaponry. And then it goes through quickly on dice again. explaining it in more detail, and giving you various charts for dice, like a 10d6 chart here for percentages, and so forth. Then we got an index here. Then we got Marc Miller and his credits, as well as a map for the galaxy, or the map of the region of space in which Traveler takes place in. And then we have book 2, which is Starships. I'm going to move through this yet again pretty quickly. But there's a quick little section right here, example for QSP, quick ship profile up in the front here. Definition of a ship. This is book 2. It happens to have all the same basic information right here for the table of contents as the other books. Then you have star systems. How the hex system operates in Traveler for Starship for systems. Because if you look at the map, it's all hex maps. How orbiting inner systems operate. So it basically teaches you, hey, this is the physics and structure of the universe. Orbital rates around stars of various masses and stuff, and so forth. So if you want to get really deep into the minutiae of Traveler, you can go for it. Or clouds and beyond, close satellites, and so forth. Then you have a section on starports, both the ground variety and in space variety. Various concepts like extreme controls. In fact, I can drop back to the book table of contents. For book 2, it's star systems, starports, about starships, then starships, adventure class ships, starship design process, starship design charts, elements of elements of the ship card, how ship systems work, maneuver, jump, power systems, sensors, weapons, defense, fuel, starship activities, ship combat charts, trade certifications, trade and commerce, then technology, understanding the technology charts, lifespans of intelligent species, interstellar communities, computer consoles and controls, personalities and brains, robots and mechanical persons, robot maker chart, and then you have appendixes here, which is Appendix 4, Mega Corporations, Appendix 5, Building Weapons, and Appendix 6, Quick Armor Tables. So, quick show you on that one. So, the tables for Book 2 in the center column. And then back to where I was going before. So this right here, this section on ships, basically, and starports, covers all the functions and features of a typical starport. And then we have a section on starships, which then covers all the core mechanics of a starship, as well as what can be included in starships. You have a variety of ships right here. This is the core selection of ships from Traveler. The BC Battlecruiser, Type S Scout Carrier, Type A Free Trader, the Type A2 Far Trader, Type R Subsidized Merchant, Type CE Close Encounter, Type GE Ground Escort, the Type M Subsidized Liner, Type K Safari, Type SD Systems Defense Boat, and Type U Packet, Type C Mercenary Cruiser, Type L Lab Ship, Type P Vargar Corsair, Type E Corvette, and then so forth. And just show you an example. This is a image of the ship, and then all the core stats under it, and some quick explanation of it. And then you go into some more deeper stuff right here, like the Murphy class TL12, the Beowulf class, the Daring class TL, the Critter class, and then a section on designing your own ships, the basic logic behind how the ships are put together and so forth, and how things are calculated. Such as defenses, weapons, operations, section on quick ship profile, which is a hex code. And then you have Starship fillable forms here, so you can print these out and you can write down every little detail about your own personal starship. Design checklist, making sure that you have all your stuff done correctly here in order. Starship missions here. Hull tons and costs. Starship configuration, so you can design your own starship. Whether you want to have a cluster hull or a braced cluster hull or a planetoid hull or unstreamlined hull or a streamlined hull or a winged airframe hull or a lifting body hull. Starship hull fittings, starship jump fields, and just keeps diving deeper and deeper. Starship armor 1 and 2, and so forth. Starship drives by classifications. Starship drive potential chart. You got tons and tons of stuff here. All kinds of fun symbols. Starship sensors, starship weapons. You have a huge variety of starship weapons. Starship defenses 1 and 2. Starship components. Starship payloads, controls, crew structure, Starship crew section, Starship quality, Starship profile, and it just keeps elements of the starship of the ship card. And then you have more forms here. You can actually fill out. You can copy these off and print them, and boom. Maneuver drives, gravitic drives, and so forth. And this just keeps going and going. Explains the how jumps work. The calculations for tonnages of ships. And so forth. Astrogation, miss jumps, scatter, and so forth. And it just keeps going and going. There's a lot of stuff here. I really do like the fact that he includes a lot of pieces of artwork here that show off antimatter power plant, what it looks like, fission power plant, fusion power plant, dispersed power systems. Like, hey, do you want one big thing or multiple things? Which one do you want? This is like the book if you really want to know the logic in Traveler, how to build ships and build them complex. At least for classic Traveler. Communications, hollow visor, visors, EMS electromagnetic sensors, Netero detector, radar, scanner, decimeter, deep radar, mass sensors, mass detector, Life detector, activity sensor, field sensor, proximity analyzer sniffer, sound sensor, radiation sensor, vision port, jammer, stealth mask, and then it explains through how all the weapon systems work for your ships in their various configurations. Like a mining laser, pulse laser, plasma gun, fusion gun, beam laser, sandcaster, comcaster, datacaster, defensive fire tasks, missile attack task, slug thrower, artillery, salvo rack, railgun, missile launcher, kinetic kill missile launcher, antimatter missile launcher, hybrid SLM launcher, jump dampener, jump inducer, tractor purser, stasis projector, disruptor integrator, reserve special unknown disclosed with Z. And then you have handy dandy artwork down here of different cannons and turrets, as well as more charts here and more fillable stuff. Nuclear damper, Mason screen. It just really how fuel works, how the fueling systems in traveler ships work. So if you really want to know, you know now. And then you have a section on trade specific classifications. So all the, AG is agricultural, AB is data repository, AN is ancient site, AS is asteroid belt, BA is barren world, and so forth. How packaging is worked in the game. So if you really wanted to, you really could go deep in your games if you wanted as a game master with this system. Personalities and brains. Robotics 101. So if you want some robots in your Traveler, you got it. Mega corporations of the Imperium. And so forth. Quick armor tables. This whole back section is nothing but tables and tables. You got a huge index section, so if you want to like punch something down, it's all over there. This book happens to be well over well over 298 pages, but you also happen to have like 4 pages that are completely blank, which buffs it up to 304 pages. And then right here in the back, you have a simple diagram of a spaceship, a quick ship profile of its 3 deck levels, and a side view, as well as its profile system here. In positions, walls, bulkheads, and hatches, which is key, and so forth. And then on to book 3, which is Worlds and Adventures for Traveler 5, or 5th edition Traveler. This section right here, and here's the UWP, Universal World Profile key. This section right here, specifically, this book specifically is focused strongly on building worlds, the worlds in Traveler, as well as more fun stuff with it. Book 3 covers the worlds of the galaxy, charting the stars, systems and the worlds, star system creation, world generation charts, world mapping, part 1 processes, part 2 world maps, part 3 gas giant maps, part 4 habiting mapping, world surfaces section, terrain, altitudes, depth, and speeds. Then a marker section, gun marker chart, armor marker charts, vehicle maker, not maker, marker, maker, gun maker charts, gun maker chart, armor maker charts, vehicle maker charts, thing maker charts, and thing maker examples. Special circumstances, psionics charts, Sophit creation charts, beast maker charts. Then you go into adventures, epic adventures, and 2 appendices, crimes and important concepts. So right here in the beginning, it's the worlds of the galaxy. Very simple map of the galaxy. And then there's the other map from first book from the back side. And it basically has you the galactic code right here and charted space. Charting the stars. How the maps operate and routes and what each little number, letter, and means, as well as the grading systems and so forth, and how to create your own solar systems and galaxies if you so choose. Trade classes, World Gen Nibs Nil, Other Worlds, Inner System Reference. A good chunk of this is basically just all maps and charts, basically denoting distances and what you can fill out. Then there's a world mapping chart. They just defaulted to a hex map system, which but you end up with hexagonal planets by shape according to using hex maps. So that's kind of awkward. The world hex, local hex, various symbols and the types of terrains. So if you really wanted to, you can make an entire map and just stick symbols on it. And here's a chasm, here's mountains, here's ocean, baked lands, twilight area, so forth. Airports, all kinds of fun stuff. Population hexes and so forth. Coding and numbering various things. So this book is straight on. Hey, you want to know how the whole system, how the world and universe, galaxy works, and you want to make your own in Traveler? Go for it. You get some nice little terrain symbols. More of that again. Explanations on terrain types. Basic terrain here with symbols with types. So there's an example of oceans, sand, islands, shores, rivers, lakes, ice cap, baked lands, which is basically a desert. I don't know why they go with the term baked lands. Twilight zone, frozen lands, ice field, precipice, exotic, and so forth. So you got a symbol for everything you need. Even in the levels of complexity in airport and spaceports and airports. Altitude charts, you can define how tall something is from sea level. Then you have a section on gun makers. I don't know, I've said gun markers so many times, and then I realized it makes no sense. That's gun maker. Yeah, I'm special. Various different armaments in which you can include. Even medieval style weapons like axes, swords, shields, polearms, and so forth. So you can really go very broadly if you really wanted to. Special effects of various special types of weaponry. So if you use a Gauss weapon, you know what the effects of a Gauss weapon does. Then you got an armor section, which covers over the mechanics of the armoring system, as well as making armors and the armors in the setting. You got various land vehicles like hover tanks, grav armored troop carriers, a carrier for trucks, a mole vehicle. So if you ever wanted to go underground to, journey to the center of the earth, you can do that. Traveler is, however, more of a hard science system as opposed to a sci-fi soft science system, so that would be stretching it. But hey, you can do that. This gets deeper into the mechanics of the system and the philosophy behind building things. So there you go. There's gates and functions. Psionic senses benchmarks. So we just wandered into the psionics section out of nowhere, and it explains the mechanics of psionics and sophits and so forth. And it covers yet again senses and other stuff of various entities. So there you go. Covering the various basic species and races. Hivers, Aslan, Vargar, Threep, Kari, Evakin, Amendi, Weps, Dwayne, Barushi, Ursine, which is intelligent bears, dandelions, black ants, and we have Beastmaker section. You can build your own creatures with some various examples in here as well. Beast body structure and so forth. Beast details. Then you also happen to have the bestiary back here. Anola, beaked monkey, which is crazy. A Chanex hunter. Oh, Seth Sarkowski would enjoy that. A Chinex. Incidentally, the Chinex hunter. When you read through the Chinex hunter, it's like, isn't this Alien? Ridley Scott Aliens Resurrection. And then you look into the history of this, and this predates Aliens as a franchise, even though the original the adventure for the Chinex Hunter is very much Aliens, down to basic structuring, and if you shoot them, they they come apart into acid little puddles, and they melt through ships. So, and if you want to play Aliens, you got the original Aliens that predate Aliens from the movie Alien. Yeah, xenomorphs before xenomorphs. And then you have some more fun creatures. Ivory Gazelle, which has 6 legs. That's crazy. A whole bunch more critters. Section on adventures for Classic Traveler. Epic Adventures. Basic structuring, how to teach you how to put that together. And then you go. And then you have Index for Book 3, which is a large section. And then you have 306 pages. And then you have this little fun extra section in the back here for distances. So there you go. I'm not super experienced with Traveler. However, digging through these books and having studied it over the past few years on Traveler, by the way, I want to get some of my groups into Traveler, but they are really hard to get out of fantasy. But this is a really, really, really cool 3-book set. It's like $119. There's all kinds of really interesting bits of lore and the logic behind the mechanics in Traveler. And there's a good bit of history about not just the universe in which Traveler is set in, but also Traveler as a franchise and a system in itself. So feel free to just go like to Amazon or something and pick this up. I think it's $119 and odd some cents right now. And considering that, if each book is like $50 each, you get the third book for free, and the 19 some dollars is for the slipcase. So there you go. I would probably place this, my preliminary score for it should be sitting around like a 3.75 star range, almost 4. I would have loved it if there was a Game Master screen or a referee screen that was included with this. If you stuck in a referee screen into the set, that would have been a 4-star right there. That would have been so awesome. It's always so handy to have a screen that you can pull out, set on the table, and as you read through the books, you can like look at the screen periodically and like, oh, this is where that is from, and mentally tie, hey, if I need more of this here, I know where it is in the book, and so forth. The books are numbered 401, 402, and 403. I don't know why it's not 501, 502, 503, seeing that this is basically the 5th edition of Classic Traveler. But, okay. So, I would definitely, if you are big into Traveler and you want to expand your understanding and see from a different angle in Traveler, I would definitely go ahead and purchase this set. If you are just trying to get into Traveler, Mongoose Traveler 2nd Edition is a pretty good starting point to get into Traveler. Or you go way back to Classic Traveler and go hunt down all the classic stuff for Classic Traveler, which then in this case is this book set is the best. Either or. But if you get super serious, get both, learn from both angles. You might learn some fun stuff from this that help you with your Mongoose adventures, and you might learn some fun stuff from Mongoose Traveler that you can take into this is from a different perspective. So there you go. I hope you have a delightful day, a nice night, a wonderful weekend, a magnificent month, and see you next time. Ciao.